Hey, what's up, awesome dudes? Crazy here, back into Anthem with a brand new video, and of course, we finally have the ICETIDE update. The all-awaited Christmas patch has finally dropped for Anthem, and it actually contains quite a lot of very interesting features. A few of them, I really enjoy them, especially in terms of loot. Yes, you heard that right, even the loot has gotten some updates over here that you're probably going to love quite a bit, because they are going to make legendary acquisition so much better and easier than ever before. We also have some changes to Grandmaster 3, which will now be even more rewarding and give even better loot, and of course all of the other events that have been added in the game as well. So we're going to go over everything you need to know about this. If you enjoyed this video, a thumbs up would be super appreciated, and let's get started with the obvious, which is the fact that now pretty much the entire game is covered in snow, or well, kind of covered. Everything is in the spirit of Christmas. Fort Tarsus, for example, is filled with Christmas lights. There's some snow going on. Also on the ground you can see some snow happening, and the big fountain in the middle is now pretty much frozen solid. I mean, you can even see this huge statue of a javelin that stays in the middle of it, and I'm actually quite a big fan of this because it looks really damn cool. So all of these changes have been applied to the game, also to the free play, which now gives the game a whole new face. I can't believe how different the game kind of looks just with that white going on over there pretty much everywhere. I mean, the entire map is covered in snow with very few exceptions here and there. Yeah, really awesome changes, but you're probably interested in gameplay, so let's get started with the gameplay and some of the additions that have been applied over here to the game. Of course, Season of the ICETIDE is the new challenge track, which contains a lot of tracks that you can follow. All of these will provide a ton of minor crystals, and yes, this is still available in the game, as we also have a seasonal shop this time around tuned for the ICETIDE event. There's quite a few of them. They also provide some graphics, some vinyls, but the most important of them all are the endurance challenges, and to be more specific, the one with the tip of the iceberg 2, which provides these armor sets right here. This includes the decoy, the infiltrator, the traitor, and also the bulwark armor sets. All of these can be obtainable in game by simply completing all the challenge tracks, and these don't appear to be as difficult as the previous one. I mean, all you need to do is just go ahead and play the free play and then the strongholds. We're going to go over that in just a little bit, but I also want to go over the dailies, because these have also changed, well, the dailies and the weeklies, and these now provide some additional minor crystals. But most important of them all, there's also a new, let's just say, token that is called Guardian's token, and you can actually use this to get guaranteed legendaries, and you can get these on a daily and weekly basis, especially since there's quite a few of these achievements that provide them. So there's Weekly Harvester that gives you these, weekly cold competition. So yeah, you can get about 3 or 4 of these per week, and also 1 each day, so quite a few attempts at getting some legendary loot. I'm going to go over those tokens in just a little bit when I'm going to go over the entire map, but I was talking about the seasonal store, and here is where I'm absolutely in love with one of the first few changes. As you can see, your eyes do not deceive you, everything over here is in yellow. Talk about a yellow shower. So now there's no choice between going over a masterwork or a legendary. Everything in the seasonal shop now guarantees a legendary item, and not just any legendary item, a 80 score legendary item. So pretty much the best in slot, or well, the maximum type of gear that you can get for your javelin. It still costs 5,000 minor crystals, which you can actually get quite easily, even though we don't have the cataclysm. And yeah, all of this means that you're getting a ton more legendaries than ever before. But now let's go over some other changes that you're probably going to see when you're going to jump right in the game, and that is the fact that we now have 2 different events over here, as it usually happens. One is for the free play, which comes with its own additions, and then there's the seasonal stronghold, should we say. This changes on a weekly basis, but I'm going to start things off with the free play, because this now contains some really nice changes over here that you might like. So the 2 new activities that have been added in the game are called Time Trials, and the other one is called the Ice Flower Frenzy. The time trials are pretty self-explanatory and they are exactly what they look like. It's basically like racing but for your javelin. So if you ever wanted to test your speed with your interceptor, let's say, and the way you start these is quite simple. You just head towards the point on the map and you will see these floating platforms over there that you can interact with. This will indicate you your current score with each javelin, so yeah, you can keep track of them, and once you start them up, it's going to do a countdown, and then you're going to start going through these hoops in all around the map. Basically, they are pretty lengthy, as I was saying. They also go underground, in the air, and they look pretty freaking awesome. They also seem to be quite difficult, especially since there's a ton of stuff in the way, especially these electricity bubbles that tend to overheat your javelin. So if you want to shave as many seconds off of the trial, you're going to have to pay attention to that. But luckily there is one thing that can help you tremendously, and that is one of these green orbs that you can find on the way. There's actually a ton of these scattered throughout the time trial, and what these do, they basically fully replenish your heat. So even if you're like maximum, you can just walk in those and they have pretty much the same effect as a full-on waterfall. So this is basically it, and you can get like bronze, silver or gold. I was able to get bronze in this time trial over here, and it didn't give me anything specific. I mean, it can give you some embers all the way up to masterwork, probably even legendaries, but since I was only finishing it with bronze, it wasn't really that great, so it was just stuff that I ended up scrapping. The second event, which is the more important one, is this ice flower thingy, and it's basically this bubble of ice that randomly spawns on the map. You're always going to find only one at any given time, but otherwise this event is quite awesome. I mean, you're inside this bubble and you kind of have to collect some coolant. That is the whole purpose of it, and bring it to this device right here. So it's actually quite easy. You can see these devices scattered around the map, and these will recharge and spawn that coolant that you need to take and bring it to this device, as I was saying. All of that while there's going to be a ton of enemies, including creatures, which are really annoying, but later on there's going to be some outlaws that are also interested in the coolant. So the strategy over here isn't really that overly complicated. When you grab the coolant, you cannot dash, you cannot dodge, you can only jump, and that is what I found to be the best way to move faster, to just jump with my interceptor, because there is a limited amount of time before the coolant destabilizes and it basically explodes. So even if you take it, you can't hold it indefinitely. You have about 15 seconds to bring it from the spawn point to the device, and there's about 5 coolant that you need to bring all the way back to the device, and from there on you're just going to have to fight some enemies. These waves of enemies can be quite threatening, so be careful with that. There's going to be an increasing number of legendary spawns that are going to happen, so if you're alone, if you're not too careful, they can definitely take you on, especially if you're doing this on Grandmaster 3, which I definitely suggest you guys doing. But otherwise, this provides some minor crystals as well, since it's an event as well, and it also counts towards an additional challenge. Well, all of these count towards some sort of ICETIDE challenge, but these were the two main events that have been applied to the free play, and there's also one collection achievement where you kind of have to go ahead and collect these Christmas decorations from around the map. I'm pretty sure that somebody is going to break that down and make it into a video. Also in the free play, since I was talking about these tokens, these guardian tokens, we now have a use for them, and you actually use these at the tombs of the legionnaires. So the tomb of Ivenia, the tomb of Karif, or whatever their name is, and each one of these give different items. For example, the tomb of Karif gives some gear, legendary level 80, that you're most definitely going to want, and once you get inside you can even teleport there instantly. You don't have to travel to it. You're going to see these pillars with different embers associated to them. So what this means is that each of these will require a different type of ember. For example, a masterwork, an epic, a rare, or just an uncommon. So all of those excess embers that we have been stockpiling now finally have a use, and that is transforming them into legendaries. In this case, the gear, by the way, that I got was Winter's Wrath. All of the items, all of the legendaries in the game can now be upgraded to level 80 on Grandmaster 3 or when using these tokens in the tombs of the legionnaires. So I'm actually quite pleased with this change. I'm not really sure why so many people are complaining about this change, because this is a really good one. It's going to increase your javelin's power, you're going to have a much better time at equipping legendaries. So I'm not really sure why people are up in arms about this, because this is a really good and welcome change. Now, as far as the strongholds go, as I was saying, there's going to be a weekly rotation where all of these strongholds are going to be part of the trial or of the challenge. In this case, we have the Heart of Rage for this week, which is going to last for another 5 days according to this timer over here. But there's quite a number of changes over here that have been inspired from the Cataclysm update. First of all, you are going to have a score and a multiplier. As always, just kill every enemy you find because it just increases that score. Each regular enemy gives like 10 points, and there's going to be a ton of these on the map, so try to clear them as fast as possible. There's also orbs such as the ones in the Cataclysm, and these also provide points, so you will want to go off the beaten path, even go in areas that you normally wouldn't go into, and collect them because they give you quite a few hundred of score points. But otherwise everything is quite self-explanatory. In this case, each section of the stronghold is divided into locations, and each location is going to have a bonus score multiplier timer that you have to take into account. And what this means is that if you clear that zone within the bonus score limit time, it's going to increase your multiplier by 1, and this is going to apply at every step in the stronghold. Every time there's going to be a new event, a new boss, a new like area to fight enemies in, it's going to give you these bonus score points, and it's going to increase your multiplier. So you will want to do this rather hastily if you want to get the maximum amount of score points. On top of this, there's also new puzzles being added on the map, some of them also inspired from the Cataclysm update. You're going to see platforms that you're going to have to stand on or apply, let's say, weights in order to activate some bonus challenges. There's also those rocks that sometimes expose crystals or other devices that you will require to fully unlock or put orbs into in order to also unlock. So yeah, all of these have been inspired from the Cataclysm update, and they have been applied and scattered throughout these strongholds. It's just a matter of actually finding them, so keep your eyes peeled. But these were all of the major and more important changes in the game. Let me know down below if I missed anything. Also leave a comment if you enjoyed the ICETIDE update. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and peace.